What's up, you beautiful collectors? This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Sideshow Collectibles Star Wars E-Web Heavy Repeating Blaster, which is a 6-scale figure environment, or diorama piece, I guess. Now, I suppose you could say that this is the third release, the first being just the gun itself, and then the second was actually in a set with the Snowtrooper, which makes sense because this cannon was used by Snowtroopers on Hoth in Empire Strikes Back. And now, due to the success of those previous releases, Sideshow has decided to release it again. For the package, you got a really cool image of the E-Web right there, as well as the Sideshow logo down in the corner. On the top of the package, it just says Star Wars. That side here, it just continues on, says Star Wars. That side says Star Wars. The back of the package has another image of the E-Web, and then a couple different shots, kind of being used in the film itself. You can see a couple snowtroopers there setting it up. What looks like some shots being fired, and then the snowtrooper right there kind of shooting it. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. As I said, a really popular diorama piece for Star Wars collectors. As I said, being released again in case you missed it the first time. So without further ado, let's get it out here and see how cool it actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the E-Web opened up and out of its packaging. And good old Steve Rogers here has decided to join me to give you a sense of scale for this weapon. And while I reviewed a lot of different Star Wars figures over the past several years, they're not actually figures that I keep in my display. I do get them to review, and then do giveaways with them. I don't actually have a Star Wars figure to compare it, so that's why Cap's here. But as you can see, the E-Web, when you get it out of its package, has 4 different parts. The first being the actual generator. Now this is really very cool. You can see a lot of really nice detail sculpted in it, but also you have a very nice paint wash throughout the entire thing, giving it a very worn, scratched up, and just heavily used looking piece. You got some nice detail with some wires and such. You got a couple red paint applications right up there. You can kind of see that it is a bit of a see-through sort of piece. And then you can actually also lift this up and you can expose the inside. Now, I'm not 100% certain what the internal bits are. But you do have a section here that can open and you can get some more kind of appreciation for the amount of detail that Sideshow put into this actual piece. Really very, very nice. The opposite side, that same kind of paint wash carries through. You can see that it is molded a little bit different on this side than on this side. But absolutely terrific looking piece. Now, you also do get this rubber hose. Very, very sturdy. I mean, stretching it, it doesn't really stretch too terribly much. It does feel like it's very strongly attached. So while it is stretchy and very rubbery, it doesn't feel like you're going to be able to pull it apart and break it. You got 2 different sections here, one more open bit, and then one is a little bit more narrow here. You can see that one end fits very nicely right on the inside there. So you just wedge that in there. I'm just going to kind of twist it to get it in there nice and secure like, and then setting that off to the side. Then you also do have the tripod for it, which again, real nice level of detail. What I like is the piston section right here on each leg is actually made out of metal. So it does have a fairly nice heft to it. One thing that I will say is, though, I do wish a lot of the other pieces were made out of the metal, because as you can see, this is a little bit, well, obviously it's a little bit more flexible because there's a piston up here, but it just feels like it's a little bit more fragile than I would like. I would love it if they had metal throughout the entire thing to give it a very good solid feel. That being said, however, it's still a really nicely detailed piece. You got those kind of silver paint splashes all throughout it. As I talked about, it does have several pistons, so you can actually move this a little. You don't get a lot of range of motion, but as you do move it, you can see that this piston moves in and out. This part right down here flexes up at this point, and then when you move this front one, you got this whole section, which also, as you can see, shifts. So you can see that piston moving forward and back as well. Obviously, it hinges up here. The little feet section also can flex forward and back, so you can kind of position this on the ground. This is the front of it, so yeah, obviously you're going to want to have it kind of facing like this, and then you got the whole section underneath here, so you just take this and bring this up and wedge that underneath. Now this, I don't feel like I'm getting this as far in as it should be. Well, actually, now I do. So it feels like it's a little bit more loose here. I mean, it stays there perfectly fine, and you can see that that looks really neat. but I feel like it's not in there all the way. I mean, you can see that it does kind of slide out, but it doesn't really lock in as well as I would like. Maybe if they put a little like mushroom bit right there, so when you rotated that up and kind of lock that up there, it sort of would soft tab in. As it is, it just kind of frictions in there, but not bad, really. So setting that off to the side, and then you can drape the hose kind of however you really want to. Just kind of fidget with that. And then the actual cannon itself, as you can see, really very large. Putting it next to Steve Rogers here, you can see that it's basically as big as he is. So really large piece. And again, great detail throughout the entire thing with the silver and then the various paint wash throughout it, giving it a very dirty look. I love the barrel section right here. You can see all these various vents throughout the entire thing. This is actually like the handle. It is designed to be broken apart, and then the snow troopers can move it around to wherever they need it. So this is the handle to kind of carry it around. Coming in to get a little bit closer of a look at it, you can see, like I was talking about, just great detail throughout the entire thing with the paint. Nice molding and things of that nature. You can kind of see that right here is like a little laser sight. And then when you come around to the back, you got this little red section, which I do kind of wish that would light up. This set here is $160. I do think that is a little bit expensive, but I do get why it's that expensive. But for that price, I really wish that section could light up. That would be a nice added feature. And then you can see that you got the handles right here. Great detail throughout the main section right around here. And then you have this little plug section, which when you come back, you literally just sit it right in there. Now, it doesn't lock in. It just kind of rests in there, but it allows it to rotate very nicely. And this is the completed look for it. Bringing this around, getting the generator off to the side. I mean, really very nice. So while you did have those articulation points there, you can rotate it here, and then it can also swivel up and down. So you can angle that and aim it to kind of shoot where you want. And then again, setting this kind of there, bringing in Steve Rogers, you can see just how large this gun really is. I mean, it's quite massive. And I can absolutely see why Star Wars collectors went crazy for this when it first came out. As I said, it came out just by the gun, and that has now been long since sold out. That came out about 3 years ago. And it also came out with a set with a snowtrooper, which I think ideally people would probably like that a little bit more, because you're going to want to have a snowtrooper with the gun because it's who used the gun. So it does make sense to kind of include one of those figures. But all in all, I'm really quite happy with this. I do think that it is really for the hardcore Star Wars collectors. But it's nice that it's available to them. Like I said, it came out really very well done. The only criticism that I suppose I would have is for the price. I do wish that this section would light up. Maybe if they could have put lights or something in the generator, maybe add some sounds, you know, like a humming or something like that, and then have a doo-doo-doo or something. While I would have liked those features to be included, what you have here I still think is really very nice. I don't necessarily think that all Star Wars collectors are going to pick this up, and the ones that have a massive Star Wars display, this is definitely a set that you're going to want to add to it. It just looks like it has a, militaristic, evil empire kind of appearance, and I really dig that. So if the E-Web is a set that you'd like to add to your collection, it is available right now at Sideshow Collectibles. So all you have to do for that is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Sideshow where you can check out availability on this, as well as the rest of their wide range of 1/6 scale Star Wars figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way towards helping me out, and I'd really appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, do me a real quick favor and click on that bell right below this video, and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And as always, until next time, may the Force be with you.